It's our trade deadline coverage here on the fourth period, brought to you by Betway. That's Dennis Bernstein. I'm Irfaan Gaffar. Dennis, let's begin in Washington, where goaltending, yes, is a need, but there might be a little bit more that the Capitals are looking to do come the deadline.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a need on the bottom six at this point, despite Anthony Mantha finally coming back from LTIR, and he may return later this week. The serious injury to Carl Hagelin's eye probably has them in the market for a bottom six forward on the wing. A couple of names out there in your city. Tyler Motte, who's had a nice season for the Vancouver Canucks, as well as beast mode. His favorite Seattle Kraken player, Jarnkrok, could be also an option for Washington to help the hole now created by the injury to Carl Hagelin.
You know, it's funny you mentioned the Vancouver Canucks and Tyler Motte, because we've heard so much about the Canucks in the news over the last little while. JT Miller's name is in the news. Brock Besser's name is in the news. Tyler Motte. There's a lot of players in the news, but teams are now starting to, have some interest in Connor Garland.
Yeah, a player who I love. I think he's a fantastic player in that middle six category. He's not a top line player, obviously, in Vancouver, but yeah, a couple of teams. Leafs, who's always looking for help with the trade deadline, it appears, and also the Devils, who are looking at a long-term process with respect to building their roster. Those are two teams that could be in the market for Connor Garland, an effective player on a reasonable price with term.
Now let's go to LA, your home. Dennis, I want to talk about this LA Kings team. They begin a 4-game road trip tonight, and often we say, results dictate decision making. Is this road trip going to decide what the Kings are going to do here?
It can, from a different optics situation. If at the start of the season I was telling you the Kings were in striking distance of a playoff spot, you would think, okay, they may rent to get into the playoffs. But now, given their schedule, they should be in, right? So the question is, do you make an acquisition now, either rental or on term, that might help you win a round or two? Because other than Colorado and maybe Calgary, if this team gets into the 2-3 seed, they can win a round, possibly two, and get out of the division. So that might change the optics on the type of acquisition. Look, you look at this team, their special teams have not been good. They've been winning despite of those special teams. They've been great 5-on-5. So could they use another scorer up front? Absolutely could. Could they use help on the left side? We've talked about Jacob Chychrun, it seems, since last summer. Could they go for another option on the left side, even with Alexander Edler possibly returning from injury before the end of the season? Yeah, this team is on a roll. Not a great effort the other night against Boston. So, yeah, I think this is a key. If they can come out of this road trip, let's say 2-2, let's say they lose tonight in Dallas and lose in Boston, but beat Columbus and Buffalo, I think they'll be aggressive, and I think they'll make at least one add to help the special teams going forward and into the playoffs.
The beauty of the NHL postseason, once you're in, it's anybody's dance. Dennis, thank you so much for this. And as always, our trade deadline coverage here on the fourth period brought to you by Betway.